If you're in the United States, sometimes you can feel lazy and think, you know, we're so big, we don't have to really know anything about other people. If you see the environment destroyed, it's not because that's necessary for development. It's usually because we're being lazy and we're not being as creative as we could be.
Is that unique to Americans? Are Americans lazy because they don't do this? Well, the president's saying this while he was in Laos. At the same time, he was criticizing Donald Trump, a potential successor, a potential future president, on foreign soil. Former Republican Massachusetts Senator Scott Brown not too happy about that. Democratic strategist Jessica Tarlov, I guess, okay with that. Welcome both of you.
Hi. Welcome back to you.
Thank you very, very much.
Hey, Neil. Neil, are you done resting, by the way? Are you done? Okay.
That's fine. That's fine, Senator. Now, you don't do anything to upset me, Senator. I think I feel a palpitation going on. Do you think, Senator, hearing that it was like the, you know, clinging to Bibles and guns thing he was doing in the campaign 8 years ago?
Well, I think it's an extension of his apology tour, you know, painting Americans, belittling and demeaning hardworking Americans. I can show him many people in Massachusetts and New Hampshire and throughout this country are working 1, 2, 3 jobs to pay the bills, to pay for the high cost of Obamacare and all the other policies that he's put in place, that wet blanket over individuals and businesses. And by the way, this is coming from an individual prior to being president and being a senator, never had a private sector job and doesn't know the value, I believe, of hard work like many Americans do. I thought it was insulting.
You know, Jessica, I was trying to give him the benefit of understand where he was coming from. But what he was saying is whatever the work ethic of Americans, that they're intellectually lazy, that they're intellectually not curious, that they don't have any interest in traveling abroad. Now, what was I extrapolating too much? Because it sounded very condescending to me.
You might have been going a little far here, and I think it's really interesting when the right
Really?
blows.
You said that to me after I had this horrible
I'm
operation?
so sorry. I take it back. You're perfect. But you aren't Senator Brown, so I can go after what you've said. So,
that's great. Bring it.
You know, to say that because President Obama hasn't had a private sector job that he doesn't understand the meaning of hard work is offensive. People who work in the public sector work extremely hard. I think that he could have picked different words, but what he's talking about, certainly on the environmental front, is that we don't do enough to preserve our environment. We know this. I mean, when I don't recycle, it's because I'm being lazy.
But how does that make you lazy?
Or
well,
worse yet,
if
you're not going the
question
extra
some of this.
mile. You're not going down there, you know, to compost. You're not going to recycle, whatever it is. So that's what I think that point was.
Did you really say that you have now lifted this to we're not aggressively composting?
Well, no.
Yes,
it was
you
an
just did.
example of environmental policies that he's talking about. I mean, he's trying to get our country more green. He's
All
trying
right, let me
to
switch gears a little bit, guys, because in making those remarks, a little later he goes on to talk about Donald Trump and the wacky or crazy things he says, and whatever your views on that. There used to be a rule of thumb, and Scott, pick up on this, that you don't criticize on foreign soil. He takes great offense to it, as I think he should, when others are criticizing him when he's on foreign soil or vice versa. But he did that about a potential successor. What do you make of that?
Well, I think, once again, Neil, I think it's wrong. The fact that he's representing our country in another country is, once again, an extension of the way that other countries view us. I mean, take China, for example. He had to go out the back door. I would have gotten on that plane, and so would have Donald Trump and every other leader, and taken off and embarrassed the Chinese. And you have John Kerry flying all over the world.
Just because they didn't wheel upstairs to your plane?
Unbelievable.
I know, but why would you know when you fly out of there?
Absolutely. You send a message that's completely disrespectful to our commander-in-chief and to our country. Absolutely. Everything that they did and have done and will continue to do is meant to be a poke in the eye for the president.
Jessica, real quick, what do you think of that?
Absolutely.
Well, I think, this is not something that's new for President Obama, talking about Donald Trump in this way abroad. He did it at that big NAFTA party when he was up there with the Mexican president and the Canadian prime minister before. I think that he was reacting to the comments, obviously, that Donald Trump has made recently. If you have a candidate who's talking about, how much he likes Putin, or saying some of the, I didn't back the Iraq war, things that are just blatantly lies or misguided comments, I think that it really fires the president up. But obviously he's being a partisan here, and I understand taking issue with it. I happen to think it's important for him to continue to make his case for Hillary Clinton, but I do understand the concern there.
Okay.
And Neil?
Yeah.
And Neil, real quick, the reason that Putin is so emboldened right now is because of the failed policies of this president.
He's emboldened because Donald Trump has given him.
He's not emboldened
wish we had
because
more
of Donald
time.
Trump.
I wish
That's
we had more time.
ridiculous.
But look at the
That's
time.
ridiculous.
We can't.
Gotta go.
Yeah, bye-bye. All right, I want to thank you both. It was a real pleasure.
Thanks, Neil.
All right,
Welcome
now,
back.
Thank you. In the meantime, if you know, some in the media don't seem to take on Hillary Clinton over certain issues. I want you to meet the veteran who did.